It's just not very good. It's really ruined it. But I've got a solution for that. Oh my God, they look so good. They look a million times better than they did before. What's going on, guys? Now today we're going to be doing a few tidying up jobs on the Fiesta ST. I've had a lousy day in work and I thought what better way to cheer myself up than to do a bit of work on the car. I spent about 3 hours cleaning this thing on the weekend. I even gave it a clay bar, and when I was done the paint was like glass. I then parked it under a tree for a couple of hours and lo and behold it was covered in crap again. But then luckily after a quick snow foam on Monday night after work we were back to being all shiny again. But I noticed that there's one thing now the car's all clean and shiny that still lets it down. And that's the headlights. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that we split the headlights and painted the insides of them black. I also tried to restore the outside of the lenses, but it didn't go too well because I was just using stuff that I had lying around in my shed, including some really old cutting compound or polish or whatever it was, and it didn't do a good job at all. If you look closely, you can see that they're still really foggy, really hazy. There's loads of little scratches in them. And the light output from them can't be great either, but like if we just get a close-up of that, that's all on the outside of the lens. Like the insides are pretty much flawless apart from a couple of little spots like that where the paint lifted when I put the lenses back on. And if you haven't checked out the video where I do that, go and check that one out. You can find it on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description as well, but that video was a lot of fun to film. I got dressed up and everything, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out now. But as for restoring the outside of the lenses, we're going to revisit that today, and this time I'm actually going to take the lights out of the car because last time I got the polish all over the paint and the windscreen and all the plastics, and it was a nightmare to remove. I think I've only just managed to get the last of that off, so let's get these headlights out. Why do my cars always end up looking like they're crash damaged? I've brought the lights out into my backyard because, like I said, the polish gets everywhere and I really don't want to get it all over my nice clean paintwork. This time, I've actually bought the proper kit. I mean, this is just a cheap kit off Amazon, but I have used it before on my Honda and I know it works really well. It's a hell of a lot better than what I tried to do with these last time, so let's hope that we can get a good result on these lights. The kit comes with 3 different grades of sandpaper, some polishing paste, a drill attachment, some tape for taping off the edges of the paintwork, which we won't need, a polishing pad, some UV protective liquid for coating the lights after we finish polishing them, and an applicator pad for the UV protector. I've gone ahead and done the first headlight off camera because I wanted to give you guys a bit of a before and after, but if I'm honest, the after doesn't look that great. From a distance it doesn't look too bad, but that clear protective liquid that I put on it to, you know, stop the UV rays damaging it again, it just wasn't that great. I mean, it took ages to dry. I had these drying overnight, and when I woke up this morning and went to fit them back in the car, it was still sort of sticky on the lens, and I got a bit of a smudge in it there where my fingerprint went on it. And there's also this streak up here which just looks awful. I mean, they're definitely better than they were. I mean, this is one before I've even sanded it, and you know, to be fair, after sanding it did come out quite well, so the kit was good for that. But like I say, that UV protective liquid that we put on was just rubbish. It just comes in a sachet, you squeeze it out onto the headlight and then you just apply it with a little applicator, and if I'm honest, yeah, it's just not very good. I mean, it says on the kit that it will form a magic layer on the headlight, but if you ask me, there's nothing too magic about that. But I've got a solution for that. We're actually going to flat this back again, sand this stupid coating off it, and I've actually got like an aerosol clear to go over the top of it, but I'm still waiting for that to arrive. So for now, let's get on with sanding this one. Like I said earlier, the kit comes with 3 different grits of sandpaper. We've got 800, 1200 and 2000 grit. So we're going to start with the 800, clean the headlights down afterwards, then move on to the 1200, clean them down again, and then finally go on to the 2000 grit. So for the flatter areas, like this here, I'm going to put one of these pads on this little applicator here, and then for this more difficult place I'm just going to do this by hand, and I'll show you what they look like after each stage of sanding, just so you get an idea of just how much of a job it's doing with each pass, you know, with the different grits of sandpaper. So starting with the 800 grit, I'm just going to spray down the headlight with some water and spray some water on the pad as well, and then get to sanding. Already you can start to see where some of the plastic's actually coming off, you know, as you sand these back, because you can see the sort of residue on my finger. So like I said, this is the 800 we're starting with, so this will take the most off hopefully, and you know, as we go up the grits it should get smoother and smoother. I'll show you what this looks like after I've finished and cleaned it down. Okay, so that's the first pass with the 800 grit. So now I'm just going to clean these headlights down Give them a quick wipe. And there you go, that's what they're going to look like after the first pass. You can see they are proper hazy, but you know, that's what you want after the first pass, because it's the sort of more aggressive of the three different grits we're going to use, and we're going to polish these afterwards anyway. But yeah, that's what they look like after the first pass. So let's move on to the 1200 grit. Okay, so that's the second pass with the 1200 grit, so let's give it a wipe down. Okay, so this is how they're looking after the second pass with the 1200 grit. Still quite hazy, but you can start to see on the edges at least that these are going to look so much better when they're done. So let's move on to 2000 grit. And there we go, that's the final pass with the 2000 grit, so let's just give this a quick wipe down. And here we go, this is what it looks like after the 2000 grit. And to be honest, it doesn't look that much different, but actually if I wipe that away by hand, you can see that it is starting to get there. Now, obviously there's another stage yet, we still need to polish these, so that's what we're gonna move on to next. Now for polishing, it's just a case of attaching this pad that came with this little drill attachment in the kit. Screw that on there. Then attach this foam polishing pad to the drill attachment. Squeezing some of the polishing paste onto the headlight lens. Probably use about half of it to start with and then do a second pass with the other half afterwards. Then I'm just gonna spread this around with the pad first rather than just go straight at it with a drill, because otherwise it'll just flick off everywhere and we'll lose most of the paste. So I'm going to try and rub this in as best I can to start with, and then starting on a nice low drill speed, because like I said, if you go too fast too quickly it's just going to fling off all over the place. So just going to start on a nice slow speed and polish these until we don't see any more of that crazing on the headlights. Okay, that's the polishing stage done. So it's time for one last wipe down. And there we go. I'm just going to give these a few minutes to dry and then I'm going to show you what they're looking like. Okay, there we go. Right, so this is the one that we've just finished sanding, so there's no protective coating on this at all. And this is the one that I did earlier with the protective coating done, which had overnight to dry. This one actually looks better, and this one does look better than this one did after I'd finished sanding this one. This one didn't look great after I finished sanding it. I mean, it looked a lot better than it was, but when I put that liquid on it and spread that all around, like, this looked so good. It looked so glossy, it looked so clear. Like, it actually looked amazing. It looked way better than either of these two do now. Now it's finally like fully dried and the sort of days had a chance to get bits of dust and bugs and all sorts over it while it, you know, finished drying in the sun this morning. Then it's really ruined it, and this one that's just freshly sanded, in my opinion, looks way better. But I reckon when we get the clear coat on this, so the aerosol clear that I've bought, which I will show you when it arrives, but I think once that's on, these are gonna look amazing. And I'm gonna clean this one down, I'm gonna sand this back, get rid of that coating, polish this one again, and then get the aerosol clear on that as well. And then I think these are gonna look stunning. But while we're waiting for that, sticking with the theme of lights, we're gonna move on to the rears, because my rear lights are really wobbly, like they're hardly held in at all. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, on the driver's side, one of the little pins that's meant to hold the headlights in place is missing. But luckily, my friend Ash has hooked me up with a replacement with the pins intact. So thanks for that, mate. I owe you one. But then these clips that they locate into also wear out over time, so we're going to get those changed out as well. Then it's just a case of swapping over the bulbs into the new light cluster. And there we go. That is, wow. That is really in there. Like, I'd love to say I'm making that up, but I'm like, literally, you can see me shaking the car. That is so much better just from that tiny little clip. It doesn't even look like there's that much difference in the two. Like, it doesn't look like this is that worn, but it makes such a difference. That is mad. I guess the pin was missing on this side before, but I think the other side actually has both pins intact, so be interesting to see if just changing this over makes that any better. So on the passenger side, this is the before, and you can see that the pin is actually there on this side, like the pin is in there, but like, see, look how loose that is. That is just wobbling all over the place. The top one is in there as well. That's actually not that bad, but this bottom one is dreadful. So let's get this little clip swapped out and see if that makes it any better. Same story on this side. Literally that tiny little clip fixes it. And just to show you up close, look at that gap now. It's totally closed. I can't even see where the clip is. Oh, there it is. Meant to be in there, but like I'm proper yanking on that. Like you could see that before. I can't even pry that apart. That makes such a difference just from that one little clip. That is mad. That's so good. They're awesome. If you've got wobbly rear lights, you need to get those. They make such a difference. I can't believe that's actually fixed it. Wow. As for the light with the missing pin, I actually have a set because Ash did give me two. It's just that the other one has a pin missing, same as my driver's side one. So rather than just throw away a perfectly good set of light clusters, why don't we see if we can repair this? Let me know in the comments if you want to see me try and get hold of these pins and see if we can repair these. Then we've got a spare set, and maybe we can do something cool with them. And speaking of something cool, our headlight clear coats just showed up. Now this is from a company called E-Tech, and I've used their products before for various other things and had really good results, so I'm excited to see what they can do to these headlights. So let's give the lenses one last clean. Then wipe them down with a tack rag that comes with the clear coat. Then spray our first light coat of the clear. Then wait 3 to 4 minutes for the first coat to dry. Then spray our second slightly heavier coat. And after they've had another 3 to 4 minutes to dry, I'm going to go in with the final coat. And then after 1 hour, they should no longer be tacky, and then they should fully harden within 4 hours. Okay, so the lights have now had a good few hours to dry, and oh my god, they look so good. They look so clear, so shiny and glossy. Like, I can't believe how good a job that clear coat has done on the outside of these. They look a million times better than they did before, and it's so much better than that clear coat, that clear liquid that came with the kit that I used. I mean, just look at them. They look stunning. So let's get the lights and the grille back on the car. I also got some new LED side light bulbs, so let's chuck those in. And that is job done. I'm so happy with the way these things turned out. I can't believe how good a job that clear coat did on the lenses. It's really brought them up so much better than I ever thought it would. So if you're looking to do this yourself, I definitely recommend that E-Tech clear coat to go on the top of your headlights after you've restored them. And they actually do a full kit as well, which I didn't know beforehand, but I definitely recommend getting that because they clearly make really good quality products. Nevertheless, I'll leave a link to the kit that I bought off Amazon in the description, along with the clear coat that I bought and the full kit from E-Tech if you're looking to do this yourself and you want to go whole hog with their products, because like I said, they are really good. I'll also leave the Ford part number for those clips for the rear lights in the description so you can find them. Just do a search on eBay and you'll come across them no problem. But anyway, for this video, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.